Congratulations on the work you've been doing converting your old videotapes to digital. I hope it's been going well for you and you've rediscovered some great memories that are now preserved forever. But as you've discovered, things don't always go smoothly. I'm Scott the Media Hoarder, and the first time I had a VHS tape snap was when I got my very first stereo hi-fi HQ VHS deck right there. I was so excited to go and grab the only stereo hi-fi tape I had in my collection. It was Huey Lewis and the News, Heart of Rock and Roll from the 1985 Sports Tour, recorded live at the Kabuki Theater in San Francisco. I had put it away without rewinding it, so I rewound it, and when it got to the end, I popped out the tape and the leader tape had snapped off the take-up reel of the cassette. And I never, ever saw that video again. Until I found it on YouTube while writing this video. And I love those songs. So, your VHS tapes are holding your family trips, weddings, birthdays, and you're facing the prospect of losing them forever because a tiny bit of adhesive failed decades after it was gobbed on. Let's fix it. I'm going to show you how to repair a VHS tape that's come off the reel. The client reports that the tape, when rewinding, snapped off, and I can actually see that in there. Looks like it snapped right off. Job one is to take out a few screws. You'll notice that I'm holding it down. I don't want anything springing up and surprising me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty sure there's a fifth one. Okay. So they have all been unscrewed. Now here is the important part. I'm gonna hold it together like it's a cheesesteak sandwich, and I don't want any of the meat to fall out. Turn it over. Oh, what do you know? So the screws fall out as they should. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the fifth one? Fifth. 5. Blade. Should have done this before. Oh, man. Okay. Now that I've cut the label, these two halves should come off. I lifted it straight up. And we can see the guts. So what do we have? It's like a reel-to-reel tape. Oh my goodness, what is this in here? That doesn't look nice. I don't know if that's mold. So what I'm gonna have to do is take this reel out, and it is mounted with a gear on the bottom. And that gear is stopped by this interlocking thing. So when you put the tape in your VCR, it engages this mechanism, which loosens the brakes on these two so they can spin. Here we can see, I don't like the look of that. I'm gonna blow that off outside. I'm gonna get my compressed air and blow it off outside and see what I can do. So this is leader tape. Have you ever wondered how your VCR knows it's at the end of the tape and should stop? Ideally, it's triggered by this little spot. There's a light inside the VCR that tries to shine through the tape. It can't because this part of the tape is dark, but once it gets here, it goes, put on the brakes. Problem is, if it doesn't trigger fast enough and it's going too fast, we end up ripping the leader tape off the take-up reel. We need to get the tape back on the take-up reel. This is a case of do as I say, not as I do, and I'll explain why. You should only use proper splicing tape because regular old household tape has the glue in it will leak out and it will off gas and it could gum up your whole tape. This tape, Already has some mold on it, I think. It's broken once. I think it should be treated as though we will get one last play out of this tape. Hopefully it will capture nicely, and then we can say never play this tape again. This is an emergency repair. Instead of using splicing tape, I'm just going to use household tape. I'm going to get that on there, thread that in there. I'm going to use my tweezers to try to get it in as square as I can so it lines up. Make sure it's stuck down and secure. Now, when we play this back, I'm not going to bank on us getting the first few seconds because I'm going to want to wind this through a little bit more. So now that it's attached, I can wind it back a bit and carefully re-thread everything through the tape path, which I should have noted before I took it apart. Through there. Oh, this one looks tricky. Okay, I think that ought to do it. Now, we have to figure out how to put it back together. I'm going to try to put this on straight down. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try to angle it on from the front. And it's a nice fit. Again, like a sandwich. Delicious sandwich. I could go for a club sandwich. So I'm going to start with the middle one. You don't have to, but I am, because it feels to me like that's in the center. That's going to anchor everything else. Then I'm going to go around in a clockwise fashion. Again, you don't have to. This is totally arbitrary. Although it'd be nice to have a cassette screwing mechanism, or wouldn't it be nice to have a cassette repair algorithm thing to do? Maybe we'll call this. Make sure you screw back your cassette shells to the stock media orderly. Ta-da! Let's give it a try. And one of the good VCRs. This is a Panasonic AG1970. Let's go. I'm gonna hit go on the capture video. So rolling on the computer. Let's play on this. We have picture. Oh, it's making crunchy noises inside. We're getting an okay picture. A little noisy. Oh, it's making noises inside though. I hope it's, yeah, it sounds like it could even be wrinkled in there. But hopefully we'll get one last decent transfer out of this. There you go. That was probably easier than you expected. The key points to remember are cutting the label so you can get the two halves of the case apart, unscrewing the little tiny screws, turning the case over carefully, remember, like a sandwich, paying careful attention to the tape path and making sure the tape goes back the way it was supposed to be threaded, and using a little piece of tape to stick the loose end onto the take-up reel. Remember what I said, don't use regular sticky tape unless you have to. Put it all back together and you should be able to get back to capturing your tapes. I wish you great success in your media preservation journey. You're my kind of people. And I invite you to like this video and subscribe or follow so we can keep building this movement to save our personal history in the digital world. More about that on my website, Cygnals.com. I'm Scott the Media Hoarder, reminding you that what gets recorded gets remembered if it doesn't get lost. Cheers.